Have you ever had one of those moments where you just stop and wonder, what is this all for? You put in the effort, you do your best to be a good person, you keep pushing forward, and yet, a quiet feeling inside suggests that something important is missing. If that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place. This is a story about that very feeling. It's a story about doubt, about searching, and about the gentle insights that can truly reshape a life. So make yourself comfortable and listen. What you're about to hear might be exactly what you need. In a quiet little town, nestled between rolling hills and wide-open fields, there lived a man named Thomas. He was in his late 30s, strong, dependable, and always the first to lend a hand. People in the village truly admired him. Thomas was there for his neighbors, he took pride in his work on the farm, and he never turned away someone in need. But when the day was done and Thomas was by himself, a completely different feeling would wash over him. Each night, lying in his bed, he would look up and think to himself, "Why does everything feel so hollow? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, so why does it feel like none of it really matters?" He felt he had no one to share this burden with. His parents had passed away years ago. He wasn't married, he had no children, and he hadn't kept any close friends. There was just the work and the silence. One afternoon, while tending to his fields, Thomas simply sat down right there on the earth. To his own surprise, tears welled up in his eyes. He whispered to the wind, "I can't keep going like this. I'm so tired, not in my muscles, but in my soul." Later that same evening, as he was walking near the outskirts of the village, he overheard a conversation among some of the older residents. One woman, with a gentle voice, said, "If your spirit is ever feeling weary, you should go up to the hilltop where old man Elias lives. He sees the world in a different light." Thomas paused in the evening shadows, listening closely. She continued, "He doesn't give you instructions. He gives you understanding. He may not solve your problems, but he will change how you see them." Those words settled deep into Thomas's heart. The very next morning, Thomas packed a simple lunch and a flask of water and began the climb up the hill. After a long walk, he came upon a small, well-kept wooden cabin surrounded by wildflowers. The air was still and peaceful. Soft bird songs filled the silence. Outside, an older man with silver hair and warm eyes was sitting calmly, scattering crumbs for the birds. Thomas approached him respectfully. "Sir, I was told that you speak with people who feel a little lost." The old man, Elias, looked up and smiled. "You aren't lost. You're just searching for something without knowing its name." Thomas sat down beside him and, for the first time, poured out his heart. "I've worked hard my entire life. I try to be good to others. I fulfill all my responsibilities, but at the end of the day, it all seems pointless. I feel like I don't make a difference." Elias listened patiently and nodded. "Then it is time for you to see something. Come back here tomorrow morning." When Thomas returned the next day, the old man handed him a small cloth bag filled with tiny seeds. He pointed to a bare patch of cracked earth behind his cabin. "For the next 10 days, I want you to come here and spread a few of these seeds on this ground. Then I want you to water them, even though this soil looks completely lifeless." Thomas was puzzled. "But sir, this ground is so dry. Nothing will ever grow here." Elias gave a gentle smile. "Do it anyway. Let the land be your teacher." So Thomas did exactly as he was told. Each day he made the journey up the hill, scattered a few seeds, and watered the parched soil. The sun was hot on his back, and his arms grew sore. Day after day, he saw absolutely no change. It still looked just as barren as before. But on the morning of the 9th day, as he was watering the ground, he noticed something incredible. Tiny green sprouts were beginning to push their way through the hard earth. By the 10th day, that once dead patch of land was covered in a soft, delicate carpet of green. Thomas hurried over to find Elias. "I don't understand," he said, his voice full of wonder. The ground looked completely lifeless. But all this time, something was growing underneath. The old man smiled and shared a truth that Thomas would carry with him forever. That is life itself. So often we plant seeds of kindness, hard work, honesty, and love. But we look around and see nothing in return. No gratitude, no visible results. We start to believe that our actions are pointless. But deep down, under the surface, something is always growing. Quietly, secretly, and in its own time. Elias placed a hand on Thomas's shoulder. "You looked at your own life and saw only dry, empty ground. You believed your efforts were wasted, but the seeds you have been planting all your life, your compassion, your integrity, your daily struggles, they were never lost. They have been growing roots all this while." He gestured to the vibrant green shoots. "Just because you can't see something with your eyes does not mean it holds no value." Thomas sat completely still. His racing thoughts finally grew quiet. His heart felt full. Tears filled his eyes once more, but this time they were not tears of sorrow. They were tears of profound relief. "So, my life isn't meaningless?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. The old man's smile was radiant. "No life lived with kindness and truth is ever meaningless. Even our pain has a purpose if we move through it with a loving heart." Thomas ended up staying there with Elias for 2 more days. He helped plant more seeds, he listened to the sound of the wind in the trees, and he watched the stars fill the night sky. And for the first time in many, many years, he felt a genuine and deep sense of peace. He returned to his village not with every question answered, but with a newfound calmness inside him. Now, when he went about his work, he stopped looking for meaning only in the final result. Instead, he found purpose in every single small action, planting a seed, helping an elderly neighbor carry their shopping, or even sitting quietly and enjoying a warm cup of tea. He had finally learned the lesson. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be deeply beautiful, and it doesn't have to always make logical sense to be full of meaning. Sometimes the point is simply to live it. Slowly, kindly, and with honesty. Perhaps you, like Thomas, have felt that your efforts don't count for much, but I am here to tell you that they do. Every small good thing you do with a sincere and loving heart, it matters. It changes the world in quiet ways you may never get to see. So please, don't ever give up. Even when life feels its most empty, remember that something beneath the surface is still growing, getting ready to break through. If this story found a place in your heart, please do give it a like and share it with someone else who might need to hear this message today. And if you'd like more stories like this that offer both wisdom and a chance to practice English, we warmly invite you to subscribe to Stories for the Soul. Together, let's remember to move gently, be kind, and always keep moving forward.